What's up, guys? Hanging out, working on my Stickfingers deck. Um, Trying to make him kind of CEDH. I don't know that I'm there yet for sure. Um, I I'm having a feeling I'm gonna have to go through and I won't be able to play cards like Tevish Zot or Spine of Isha and you know just scroll back the mana cost to like CMC 2 or 3 in all my cards. You'll see there's a lot of low mana curve cards in here, but I'm afraid I'm just going to have to go to even more. Don't mind the proxies. I have most of these cards. I just, when throwing these decks together, I just like to use proxies for the time being. Also, I'll have to apologize for my cards. They're a bit grimy. I play in smoke-filled back rooms where we beat each other up. So if that irks you, I apologize. Don't be like that. It's not nice. Let's talk about old Stickfingers for a second. What is he? He's a green and a black and X for Star, right? Legendary creature horror. Whenever you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I only run 2 creatures in this deck, by the way, and that's Triskelion and Machias. I'm going to try to win by Living Death or Victimize. So I play old Stickfingers for 4. So X is 2. Go get these 2 in my yard, the only 2 creatures in my deck. And then either Living Death or Victimize. I can use old Stickfingers to Victimize and bring these 2 cards into play and win the game. Now, it's fragile, I know, but when these 2 hit the field at the same time, you're putting yourself in a better position to win. If you time it right when the other people are tapped out, even better. Let's just look at the deck quickly. I'll talk about these cards after. Let's go. 4 swamps, I think. 4 forests. Here are my dual lands. Maybe I just hold it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So dual lands, what I mean by that is cards that produce either green or red or both. I mean green or red. Duh. Green or black or both. And then non-basics. Where are we here? I won't do the count. I have a few non-basics in here. I want to talk about Boseiju in particular. But Dark Depths Thespian Stage is in there. Look it up. I have ways, you saw Wasteland and Strip Mind. I have ways to recur my lands. I thought when I built this deck I would do like a land combination, land control, like destroy lands, but it can get quite mean. So I opted just for 2. And if I draw them, great. If not, I have ways to tutor. But that's besides the point. I want to talk about Boseiju. This card, folks, if you haven't, let me bring this up. If you're not running this card and you're running spells, or you're trying to win with through a spell, this is the card for you. Okay? I don't know how many times I've put this on the field, and I've cast old stick figure, Machias and Triker in the yard, and then I go Living Death. And they're like, oh, counterspell. They were waiting for that. They kind of sniffed something coming. I'm going to counterspell it. Well, Boseiju says if I pay 3 life, or 2 life, sorry, add 1 to your pool, colorless that is. If that mana is spent on an instant or sorcery spell, that spell can't be countered by spells or abilities. Oh, that's amazing. So this can't be countered. This resolves. I can win the game. Or potentially. Obviously, this can be interacted with, but again, you want to try to time this where in a perfect scenario, your opponents are all tapped out. You use Boseiju. Boseiju. I apologize. If I butcher names, I'm not the greatest. Don't get mad at me. I apologize. Anyways, Beseiju you tap. These two are in the yard. You've cast Living Death. It's uncounterable. These two come in and you can just win the game. So that's kind of how I'm going to try to win. I do have a backup plan win right here. I also can control with that. But let's talk about my one planeswalker, Tevish Zot. If you haven't played with Tevish, I suggest you do. He's a ton of fun. Anyway, my only planeswalker. So what I'm going to say about planeswalkers and competitive EDH decks. So if you're gonna play CEDH, you want to play one or two planeswalkers in a deck, no more. That would be my sort of unwritten rule. Don't put more unless your synergy or what you're trying to do specifically calls for more. Only put one or two planeswalkers that really enhance your deck. Now, does Tevish enhance my play? Don't know yet. I haven't answered that question. But what he does do is he can draw me cards. He can put bodies on the field for me that I can feed to a skull clamp to draw cards. There's a lot of things that Tevish can do. So I'm trying him out. My lone and only planeswalker. Again, proxies, I apologize. Phyrexian Arena, Sylvan Library, Necromancy, Necropotence, Pernicious Deed, and the Abyss. Now, enchantments, again, try to keep them, I would say, under 10, but even less than that if you can. 5. I have 6. This is to regrow, draw cards, remove stuff, keep creatures off the board, tutor and draw. Drawing's important. Did I mention that? Any CEDH game or any EDH game that you play, if you're not drawing cards, you need to put draw spells in your deck. I don't know how many times I've seen players play out their hands and just go, oh, I got nothing else. You need a way to refill those hands. And the best way to do is through draw, right? Let's be honest. Sensei's Top's not bad. Anyways, we'll move to spells. There's a lot of them. Lots of spells. I have land ramp. 1 mana land ramp, then 2 and 3. These 1 mana land ramp go tutor for basic land is important. Some may argue that in CEDH we don't play with basics. Okay, I understand. But I do have basics. I have 8 of them, so these get 3 of those 8 can be tutored via those spells, and it's proactive to be doing something on turn 1, right? So 6 land ramp spells. Tutors. I have tons of proxies here. I have lots of tutors. Entomb's the tutor, yeah. Cruel Tutor, Grim Tutor, Diabolic Tutor, and Brain Spoil. 5 mana goes to go get a Living Death. So Transmute, it's really, really hard to interact with. So I can go have Beseiju in the ready, Transmute, go get Living Death. You can't interact with that. Very little can. I'm not sure if anything can. That's a good question when you transmute. For all you rules junkies, have a discussion on that. Brain Spoil, transmute. So you transmute 5 for 5. So this goes get Living Death. So I have a lot of ways to tutor in my deck. 2 sweepers, a Toxic Deluge, and a Black Sun Zenith. So some of these cards are real, some of them are not. That's okay. Again, I'm not gonna look, Wizards, I love you. Thank you for curating this beautiful game of mine and charging me through the nose to keep up with all the cards. But I have limited funds. I have children that need to go to college, so come on now. Anyway, removal, targeted or otherwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. Again, if you I'm not going to go through each one. This one does lands, any permanent creature, whatever, like sacrifice a creature. Culling Ritual. If you don't have this card, I suggest you go pick up a bunch. This is about to eventually go up in price. That's all I'll say. I'm sure other people have speculated on this card, but buy more. Culling Rituals. So lots of removal, just to get rid of things. Some non-removal, just regular spells. Harmonized Draw, Veil of Summer, which is really good. And the look on people's face when you go to with your combo go off and someone tries to target your stuff and you go Veil of Summer. Now, mind you, there's restrictions, yes, but it's 1 mana instant. It's so good to have. Him to Turok to discard 2 cards at random. Thank you very much. 4 Regrowth Spells. This one or this one could be replaced for that green Phyrexian one. I don't remember. It's either 1 green or 2 life. And it's instant speed, I believe. Put back on top. Anyways, that's what Reclaim does. So that spell would be better than one of these. But 4 regrowth effects, I think, is important. Because not only drawing cards is important in your decks, also being able to use your resource, and your graveyard is a resource, people, and you need to learn how to use them. That's all I'm going to say. Mana Rocks. Again, sorry for the... If proxies bother you, I apologize, but we use them. I made this one. That's nice. Fancy. So there's a bunch here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 12 Mana Rocks? Did I count that wrong? All your lotus petal, jeweled lotus, sorry. Do I have a lotus petal in this one? No, I'm missing that card. That should be in here. And then, what is it? 6 artifacts. Skull Climb to draw. I'm trying this guy because he makes 1/1s to feed to Skull Clamp. He also, what's important is he, discard a card and create a token. So discarding a card is so important. Both Trading Post and this do that, because in the event that I draw Macaeus or Triskelion, I want them in the yard. I don't want them in my hand. I mean, sure, I can go ahead and play them because I get mana, and I'd rather have them in the yard. So ways to discard or pitch them is important. I have Vecna, Expedition Map, Scroll Rack, and Crucible of Worlds. Those are... and minus these guys up front. I'll talk about them now. So, we know... And guys, if you don't know what Macaeus and Triskelion do, look them up. Okay? I won't get into it because A, I don't want to make a mistake in ruling and how they operate. And B, it's a lot to understand. I think you should go watch something separate to this combo and learn how it works before but you just win because you're doing 1 point of damage. Triskelion is doing 1 point of damage to each of your opponents, and it's done infinitely with these 2 cards. All right, again, we get them with Living Death and Victimize. So Living Death just says, let's read Living Death. Here, there we go. Each player exiles all creature cards from his or her graveyard, then sacrifices all creatures he or she controls, then puts all cards he or she exiled this way onto the battlefield. So with Beseju, it's uncounterable. You've cast old Stickfingers, whatever. You exile him, goes back to the command zone, cast this, and win the game because you're bringing back these 2 guys. And Victimize is good because you can cast this, go get these 2, cast Victimize. So for 7 mana, you can win the game if you have Victimize in hand, right? 4 mana to cast old Stickfingers, cast Victimize, sack old Stickfingers, go get Mike and Trike, right? Because you've cast them, they're in the yard, you sacrifice him, you bring these 2 back. Win the game. Pretty damn good. Trading Post and Spine of Isha, these are both proxies. Trading Post is is a utility artifact that allows you to discard a card, gain four life. Here, let me bring up the rules text. If that'll come up. Tap, discard a card, you gain 4 life. Tap, pay 1 life. Put a 0/1 goat creature token onto the battlefield, so that helps with Skull Clamp. And then tap, sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, that's not a bad thing to do. Spine of Ish destroys any permanent. Target permanent. Just lands anything. Just 7 mana, boom. Destroy that permanent. Sack it to draw a card. This comes back to your hand. Next turn, destroy another permanent. That's kind of like a control backup plan. Takes a lot of mana, and I'm not sure that this deck is suited for this, but it's definitely nice to have. So if you're running, and this is both colorless, both artifacts, so if you're running any big mana decks that require this, Trading Post is utility. Helps you to recur artifacts from the yard, to put out blockers, and to discard cards and gain life. So, Trading Post, not a bad little artifact. 4 mana. Check it out if you've never seen one. And Spine of Ish, those are nice. The other way, so if you say, you know what, homie, you're not today, not at my house. I'm going to exile one of these when the right trigger is in the right place, and this is now gone. I can't. How am I going to win the game now? Well, this is my backup plan. 3 cards. It's kind of clunky. I know that's Death Star, but it's not a magic card. That's Aetherflux Reservoir. By the way, whoever designed this art, I sourced this online. Thumbs up. Sensei's Top's got to be one of my favorite magic cards. And where we go? This is Space Laser, they call it. I think this, whoever did this proxy, bravo. This is fantastic. Whenever you cast a spell, gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life. Aether Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Yes. I'm going to kill my opponents with this. So, Bolas's Citadel allows you to play cards from the top of your library at the cost of life, which is fine, because you're just going to be paying 1 life and gaining tons of life every time. So play this with Aetherflux Reservoir in play. So let's assume that these are all in play. Okay? Now, for all you going, oh no, I can answer that. Yes, there are answers to everything you do in Magic, but this is how you can win the game with this combo. All these are in play. Okay? Bolas' Citadel lets me look at the top card of my library and play it by paying life. You know what Sensei's Top does, and you know what Aetherflux Reservoir does. So I'm going to go tap this, draw a card, put this on top of my library, use Citadel to pay 1 life, gain 1 life, top, draw a card, use Citadel, pay 1 life, gain 2. Now I'm in the plus. Now I keep drawing until I gain more than 50 life and kill somebody with that. And it's very easy to go through it. I won't go through the math, but I'm pretty sure if you have, I don't know how many cards it takes to kill 3 players. That'd be interesting on the math, because you're doubling your, every time you cast a spell, that's how much life you gain. So it's 1, then 2, then 3, 4. I mean, I guess you can do the math easily, but whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. So that's how you win the game. Bolas Citadel, Aetherflux Reservoir, Sensei's Top. And if I didn't make sense in this, which is understandable, I do that at times, look it up. It's a really cool combo. You need to be in black for the Citadel. Lucky enough, Stickfingers is black and green. So, anyways, that's my Stickfingers deck. I'd love people to try this, because you can win very easily, and I think you can maybe tune it up to be more efficient than what I'm doing. Maybe a Doomsday line in this, maybe an Ad Naus lime. Limes go good with drinks, folks. don't drink. It's not good. Anyway, Doomsday I said, and Ad Nause is, you could do those lines in here in the old Stickfingers. So build Stickfingers. I encourage you, get out there, see what you can come up with in your play groups, and hopefully you can craft yourself a very competitive CEDH build off of this bad boy right here. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll talk soon. Ciao.